Okay, this is Unit 9, Lesson 4. We're talking about scientific notation. Your objective is to add, subtract, multiply, and divide numbers in scientific notation. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing we make sure we know how to do is write a number in scientific notation correctly. And a number is written in scientific notation if it has this form right here. Okay, now the important thing to know about this number, okay, this first number, is it is at least 1, but less than 10. Okay, so it could be 1, it could be 1.7, it could be 5, 5.9, it could be 9.9, but it cannot be 10 or higher. And it cannot be less than 1, so like 0.2. Alright, so if we get a number in scientific notation, it's going to look something like this: 5.2 times 10 to some power. Okay, it could also be like 1 times 10 to some power. Okay, so it could have decimal places and it might not. Okay, it might just be like this. It could have more than one decimal place. Okay, and we could have negative exponents for scientific notation as well. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Now, there are easy ways to deal with numbers in scientific notation when we're multiplying and dividing. However, when we're adding and subtracting, you first have to convert each number to the decimal notation and then perform the addition or subtraction. Okay? We have quick ways to multiply numbers in scientific notation for multiplying and dividing, but we have to go the long way for addition and subtraction. So if I want to do this problem, okay, 7.4 times 10 to the second plus 1.2 times 10 to the negative second. Okay, this positive 2 exponent tells me to move this decimal place 2 places to the right. Okay, so I'm going to take this number 7.4 and move its decimal twice to the right to make it bigger, because it's like multiplying by 100, and I'm going to get 740. Plus, okay, now over here, this exponent is negative. That tells me to move it twice to the left. Okay, so I'm going to take 1.2 and move the decimal twice to the left. Okay, and of course I'm going to fill in a 0 right here, so it's going to be 0.012. Okay, then I'm going to take 740 plus 0.012, and that's 740.012. Okay, so no quick way to add those numbers together. You have to go the long route and convert them to regular numbers first and then add them. Okay? Let's go on to multiplying and dividing now. Okay, for multiplying numbers in scientific notation, your steps are here. You need to write them down, and I'm just going to go ahead with the examples and follow them. Okay, so if I want to do 2.1 times 10 to the 8th times 3.2 times 10 to the 4th, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply the coefficients together. So I'm going to take 2.1, let's erase that. Okay, I'm going to take 2.1 times 3.2 first. Okay, and if I do 2.1 times 3.2, it's 2 and 4, bring down the 0, 3 and 6, and we get this. Okay, and then we have to have 2 decimal places, so it's 6.72. Okay, then I'm going to take 10 to the 8th times 10 to the 4th. Okay, and we just learned how to do that. That is 10 to the 12th power. Okay, where we add the exponents together. Then we're going to write our answer with these numbers in scientific notation. So it's 6.72 times 10 to the 12th. Okay, and we are done. The reason why I boxed this is because this number is in scientific notation. It means this number is between 1 and 10. Okay, 6.72 is between 1 and 10. So we don't have any adjusting to do. Okay, let's go on to the next example. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this because it should say 6, didn't print off very well, 6 times 10 to the 3rd, I think, times 4 times 10 to the 4th. Okay, so again, first thing I'm going to do is multiply the coefficients. 6 times 4 gives me 24. Then I'm going to take the base 10s and combine them. 10 to the 3rd times 10 to the 4th is 10 to the 7th. Okay, and then I'm going to write that answer like this. Now again, the problem is this is not in scientific notation, okay, because this number is not between 1 and 10. Alright, so what we have to do is rewrite this so it is between 1 and 10. So I'm just going to simply make this 2.4, okay, times 10, but if I adjust this number, I also have to adjust the exponent, okay. Well, 24 to 2.4, I made that number go down by a power of 10, okay. So if I make this go down, then I'm going to make the exponent offset that and go up 1. So it's going to be times 10 to the 8th. Okay, so again, if you had to make this number go down to write it in scientific notation, then the exponent part has to go up. Okay, so 24 times 10 to the 7th is the same as 2.4 times 10 to the 8th. And let's do a couple of division examples. Okay, for dividing numbers in scientific notation, again, the steps are here. They are very much like the multiplication rules, okay, except just kind of backwards with division. So first thing we're going to do is divide the coefficients. So I'm going to take 7.2 and divide it by 3.6. Okay, and that equals 2. Then I'm going to subtract the exponents from the base 10. Okay, I'm going to do 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 8th. Okay, now when we divide with exponents, remember, okay, that looks like this, 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 8th. Okay, we subtract the exponents. Okay, so that's 10 to the 6 minus 8, which is negative 2. Then we're going to take those numbers and put them together in scientific notation. 2 times 10 to the negative 2nd power. And now again, how we got that? We divide the numbers, and then we take the exponents and subtract them. We always take the top one minus the bottom one. Okay? So 6 minus 8 is negative 2. Alright, now we got one more example with division here. So again, first thing we're going to do is take the top number and divide it by the bottom number. Okay? So I'm going to take 1.4 and divide it by 3.5. So I got to move the decimal places over once, and that's, I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this as 14 divided by divided by 35. And 35 does not go into 14, so it's 0 point something. Okay, and 35 goes into 140 4 times. Okay, and I multiply, and that is 140. Okay, so that's 0.4. Again, same thing with the powers of 10 here. I'm going to take 10 to the negative 1st and divide it by 10 to the negative 4th. Okay, which would look like this. So I need to subtract the exponents. So I'm taking, this is where you need to be careful on one like these. I'm taking negative 1 minus negative 4. Remember, we changed subtraction to addition, so that's negative 1 plus positive 4. So that's to the 3rd power. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and write those with the scientific notation setup, times 10 to the 3rd power. Okay, now again, this is not between 1 and 10, so I need to adjust it so it is. So I'm going to simply move this decimal over once and make this 4 times 10 to some exponent. Now this time I went up by a power of 10. Okay, so this number to this number I had to increase, so I went up. That means my exponent has to go down to offset it. Okay, so 4 times 10 to the 2nd power. So again, if you have to increase this number, your exponent goes down. If you have to decrease this number, your exponent goes up. Okay, and let's go on to one last slide. Okay, you need to wake up now. Okay, we got one example left. Hang in there, so don't be falling asleep. Not that you ever would, because I know you would not do such a thing during a math video, because they're very important to pay attention to. Okay, so now we want to take 1.5 times 10 to the negative 4th to the 3rd power. Okay, now remember our exponent rules when we multiplied. Okay, when we have a problem where we're multiplying things inside parentheses, we need to apply this exponent to both of them. Okay, so this is going to be like 1.5 to the 3rd power times 10, and then we had to multiply these exponents. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Okay? Well, now I just have to take this 1.5 and take it to the third power to make sure it's not going to be over 10. Okay? So 1.5 to the third power. 1.5 times 1.5, that's a 5, carry the 2, and the 7. Then we get 5 and then 1, that's 15. And then that is 12, and that is 2. Okay, with 2 decimal places, we get 2.25. And now I want to multiply that by 1.5. So we're going to the third power. 5 times 5 is 25. And we get 12, and then 11. And then with the 0, now I get 5, and 2, and 2. And we're going to get 5, 7, 3, 3. And I need 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So it's 3.375. times 10 to the negative 12th power. So again, using our multiplying with exponent rules, we apply both of these numbers. Sorry, I didn't want to circle that. We apply both of these numbers to the exponent. Okay, so 1.5 to the third, and then when they're in parentheses here, we multiply the exponent, so it's a negative 12, and then we just multiplied this out to make sure it's in correct scientific notation, which it is written correctly. And that's your lesson on scientific notation. Good luck on the homework.